any man that is spiritually illiterate is a dead man. To be carnally minded is death. Is death. A body without, he said, just as the body without spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead. Now, what it means is this: the body without spirit is dead. In another way, a body that is not spiritually active is dead. A man who is not spiritually active is dead. A man who is not spiritually active is dead. There is a spiritual factor to physical realities. Balak called upon Balaam and said, lay a curse on the children of Israel. Excuse me. Why would he ask him to lay a curse on the children of Israel? If all he would have done was to go into war and fight with them, he said, no, I understand that the things that appear are not made of the things that are visible. So therefore, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Before we wrestle against flesh and blood, we would have contended with the unseen before we get to the sin. So if I can defeat the children of Israel from the spirit, I can defeat them in the physical. So therefore, he said, prophet, what I want you to do is this: begin to release words against them. My God, can I talk about this? Are you with me on this point now? He said, begin to release words, not arrows. Not arrows. He said, the words that I speak, they are spirit and they are life. So if I can, so as I'm speaking, you will think that I am trying to teach you how to war, not knowing that I'm already, war has started because I'm speaking. So he said, can you begin to speak? Because I know that the spiritual controls the physical. So if you can weaken them in the spirit, begin to say bad things against them, begin to release. Now also notice that he called Balaam. Why Balaam? If I can get a tongue that is not normal to speak into their lives, then it will weaken their lives. Then we begin to use sword to kill them. So, but when you want to analyze the warfare, you will say that the children of Israel were killed by the sword, not knowing that first of all there was a sword of the spirit, that was a word of Balaam. Understand what I'm saying now? So before the physical one was effective, there was a spiritual sword. The Bible calls it the sword. He said, put on the helmet of salvation and the sword of the spirit. The sword of the spirit, which is word. So Balaam, speak words to them, release words to them. So the man looks at you and says, you shall not succeed. You shall not succeed. Say, no, forget it. It's not by I know who I am. You don't understand. You don't understand that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. But how do they operate? They operate by the agencies of words. The words that I speak, they are spirit, they are life. They are spirit and they are life. They are spirit and they are life. And he now say, you begin, he said, let no evil words proceed out of your mouth. He said, let your word minister grace. He said, let your word minister grace to the hearer. Minister grace to the hearer. Minister grace to the hearer. What is it about grace? So what is, as he's speaking, grace is being released. Grace is being released. Grace is being released. Then when he found himself in a time of need, the words that were released by, the grace that were released by words begin to solve his problems in times of need. I hear what I'm saying now. So he said, Paul will he said, when I come, I will come and lay hands on you and begin to transfer spiritual gifts. Some versions say spiritual virtues. Now, are you with me this point now? He said, you minister grace. You minister grace as they speak. As they speak, spirits are released. And what are the names of those spirits? Virtues, grace. They are being released. Then the guy woke up one day and he noticed that he calls it luck. He calls it luck. He was in need, and from nowhere, like they would say, somebody came up with help and offered him help in times of need. Not knowing that, they now ask him, how did it happen? He says, it's by grace. It's by grace. But how was that grace released? The grace was released through the speakings of mouth. I said that you minister grace unto the hearer. So that is why you now see in Acts chapter 10 verse 44. And while Peter was speaking, the Holy Ghost fell upon them. So that means that the same thing that happens by the laying on of hands can happen by the speaking of words. So walls are not just communications, but they are vehicles of spiritual virtues. So as I speak now, I know what I'm saying. As I speak now, things are happening. Things are happening. There are impartations of the Spirit, because the walls, these are virtues, these are realities, these are living things in the fourth dimension. My God, I pray you get me now. These are living things in the fourth dimension. Thoughts are living things in the fourth dimension. Walls are living things in the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is a dimension above the third dimension. The third dimension is the physical, where we can touch. We are in the third dimension now. But what happens in the third dimensional world is a product of what has been ordained from the fourth dimensional world. Revelation 4, verse 18, he said, why we look not at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. But the things which are seen are temporal, and the one we're not seeing is eternal. So your focus, your gaze must be on the things that are not seen.